I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Finance Committee of Ascension Parish, Monday, August the 6th, 2012. Councilman Brian Melanson will lead us in the opening prayer and the pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this great night and this great day. We just thank you for all the people that have come to be with us and spend this time making the decisions for the parish. And we just ask that you would guide our mouths, guide our minds, guide our hearts tonight as we look at these numbers and make these tough decisions. We ask that you keep everyone in this room safe on their way home tonight. We thank you and praise you and ask all of this in the name of your mighty Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All of the council members are present. There will be one chair addition tonight. It is a refunding of the library board bonds, and I will add that as agenda item 6B.
So moved. To get it on the agenda, you have to put it, yes. I make that motion, we put it on the agenda.
Make the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any objections? Then it will be added as item number 6B. That is a refunding of the library fund bonds. At this time, if anyone has any public comment they're going to want to make, they need to sign in with the secretary, please. All right, item number 5, monthly contracts, Kimlin Bailey Lomas.
The contract reports for the month of July 2012 is included in your packet.
No voice.
Would you like a
It's okay.
substitute?
I look over it. Tell me if you have any questions.
We've got a copy of it in our package if there's
Yeah.
any questions. I don't know
If
if
there's
you
any
can answer
questions,
them, but
don't
we
ask
can
them right
try.
now.
Yeah, you can ask somebody.
Does anybody have any questions of Kimlin? She won't be able to answer them. All right, moving right along then, does anyone have any discussion of any of the items that Kimlin couldn't answer? All right, then we will move on. Item number 6, the River Region Art Association. I understand that Mrs. Eisworth is here, and I also understand that perhaps your president is here as well to report. Welcome, sir. We're thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to hear about what we're doing with River Region Art Association. We really appreciate the support of the parish, and I want to thank our board for joining us today as a support for just the River Region. We have provided a copy of our annual report for you to take a look at, and on the report, some of the things that just like to highlight is that River Region Art Association is a 100% volunteer organization. All of our members are volunteers that support arts within our community, and it is our mission to support local artists and promote the arts in our community and provide educational opportunities for students, the general public, and other artists. In 2011, our organization held 9 different art exhibits and competitions throughout the year, and some of them you may know of, like Awesome Art on the Bayou. Others you may not. We've done some things with programs throughout the community as well. The River Region Art Association also serves as a great resource for local artists to sell their artwork in our community. We offer those services through the Art Center, but we also have things like the Art Gumbo Market, which you don't even have to be a member of River Region Art Association to be a part of. And that's completely free and allows artists to come out and show their artwork at places like Homeless House. And in 2011, sales for artists were $12,000, over $12,000 for arts in our community. It's things like the Art Gumbo Market. Of course, we held the community festival in the park this past year, Awesome Art on the Bayou. For the past 10 years, we've been doing festivals throughout the community to promote arts, to draw the community into our area and really give something back. We held 2 art shows as well as various arts and crafts booths, music and entertainment, as well as food. It was free to the public, and each year it's attracted a wider and wider audience. In 2011, it was estimated that 3,500 people came out to Awesome Art on the Bayou for the 2-day event. The big part of really what at the heart of what we do are our art classes and our workshops, and these are designed for both really anyone interested in the art, whether they're adults or students. We have a strong mission about promoting art to the next generation, carrying it forward, and one of the ways we do that is through our summer programs for our students, as well as classes for individuals, whether it's drawing or painting classes, if people want to come out in the evenings and learn how to do something that they've always felt that was deep inside them that they could do. I think everyone in this room agree that there's something creative in each one of us that makes us want to inspire other people. And whether it's through leadership or whether it's through art, it's something that we have in this just wired into us as people. The fellowship services through River Region Art Association is something that provides its members daily opportunities to network and enjoy each other's company. You know, artists in our region you don't hear about too much, but there are a lot of them. And what we found through our organization is that there's an avenue for people to come in, get connected, and do positive things in the community through art. In 2012, we've kind of taken a look at who we are as an organization, and we've made it our goal to strengthen our core values, to strengthen our core events, and we have actually increased some of our programs and expanded some of our programs. In addition to the 9 programs that we did in 2011, this year in 2012, we also did, for the first time, our Spring Fever Arts and Community Festival. And we actually worked with a partnership with the American Legion American Legion Hall 81. They actually hosted the event, and we were able to provide an event free to the public in April, and we had about 35 vendors, a space for about 55, but it was a grassroots effort, and it was actually really exciting to see not only artists that do things with 2D or 3D, but musicians and choirs come out and participate. So we're trying to expand what we're doing to tie in all of the arts in our community, because we have a lot of talented people here. With that in mind, our effort really has been on collaborative efforts with other area organizations in 2012. The Ascension Parish Tourism Commission, the American Legion Post 81, the Ascension Parish Public Library, and also the Ascension Parish Balloon Festival, as well as the City of Gonzales. The other item that we're doing this year that we hadn't done in the past is tying in with the Ascension Parish Balloon Festival. The committee had approached us about participating and doing things to help where we could, and so we have donated our time and our efforts to opening up booths at the site of the Balloon Festival to do different activities for approximately 3,000 kids that'll be coming out to the event. And so we'll have different things set up around the festival, whether it's face painting or arts and crafts areas. There's also going to have some murals on display where the children can actually color their murals, and at the end we'll have these beautiful murals that are done by our children. And these are all things that we strongly believe in, and for us, and you guys know better than anybody, the crunch has been on, how to make that happen with less dollars. And so for us, we have been very successful in doing that because of the volunteers and the generosity of our membership and their donations, as well as the monies that we've been able to receive from the Ascension Parish and the state of Louisiana. We ask that as you move forward in thinking about cuts, whether it's this year or next year, that you don't include us in those thinking. We depend very much on the amounts that we receive from the different organizations to produce the quality of the events that we've been able to do with the limited number of volunteers and on a 100% complete volunteer basis. In 2012, we've also doubled the amount of reach that we have, the number of students that we have been able to reach through our summer youth programs. The summer youth programs this year included folks with disabilities as well as underprivileged children. And for us, we feel that that's an avenue and an outlet for them to have a positive influence and something that they can see to build confidence in themselves and propel them through whatever circumstances they're facing in their life, so that they can use that art as a tool to grow from and to blossom into who they're going to be as adults. So we're very encouraged by that growth, and we really are projecting that next year we'll be able to double that youth program again in size and scope. There are a lot of things I could talk to you about what we're doing with the program. I can assure you that we've got a very strong core of volunteers that is very committed to our parish, and our goal in 2012 and into 2013 is to continue to expand the relationships that we have with different organizations like the ones I mentioned, and anyone else that's interested in being a part of River Region Art Association. Our main goal this next year is really to push membership and just push that presence in the community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dawn, would you, I understood that they were just here to report. Are they here making their requests for appropriations?
No, I'm just
I thought
throwing
it
in
was
a little side note there.
That's okay. I just want to make sure we didn't overlook anything.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions? We have several. Please, the chair recognizes Councilman Kluwat.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If, you say you're working with the Balloon Festival Association.
That's correct.
Have y'all talked to them about possibly doing the official poster or something like that? Somebody within your organization or
Actually, we
within a
haven't.
competition or anything like that?
That's a great idea. We haven't had anyone approach us to do that. We at this point we were asked to help them with some facilitation, as far as the to get the things going and the groundwork for where they needed help. If they would like us to do that, I know that we would love the opportunity to be a part of something like that.
Another quick question. What is your presence at all in the public schools?
In the public schools, what we're doing mainly is working with the schools to have them send their artwork into competitions like March into Art. We approach all the schools and let them know what's happening with the different programs that are available to students, both in the springtime for March into Art as well as the summer programs, so that if the kids aren't enrolled in any programs, they have opportunity within the Art Association. As we grow and expand these programs, we would like to become more involved with helping them out with projects throughout the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Johnson?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Adams.
Mr. Eisworth, in some of your literature that we have here before us, talk about the RRAA's program serving 5,000 members.
Okay.
Could you sort of help me a little bit and define members of the public, define public as it relates to the Parish of Ascension?
Sure. as far as the members of the public, when we're talking about our reach, we're talking about the artists that we're reaching, as well as the students that we're reaching, and then the community at large when you factor in events like the Awesome Art on the Bayou Festival.
Okay. And a follow-up question, it goes on to say there's 100 artists involved and approximately 550 students, is that correct?
That's correct.
How many of those would likely be Ascension Parish residents and citizens?
The majority of them are going to be, I can't say that all of them are. I know that we do receive actually some participation from several counties around us with the being a River Region Art Association. I know we've received student entries from Iberville Parish at times. So I can't say that 100% of them are Ascension Parish. Our goal is to pull in these surrounding areas into our parish to support the arts here. But I would definitely say that probably about 75 to 80% of the students that we reach are within our parish.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Madam Chairman.
Any other questions?
Just curious, thank you, Rob. I appreciate all the support you have for the art and everything. The parish is well needed. Where did you say your summer program was?
Our summer programs were actually held right at the Art Gumbo Center, and the neighboring church allows us to rent out space during that program so that we can accommodate the large number of students that we've actually been seeing as we grow.
And it runs just through the summer?
It ran in July and June.
Okay.
And yeah, as we grow the program, we'll expand it.
Okay.
So we actually expanded the program this year over, it was 6 weeks, correct? 4 weeks?
Okay.
It was 4 weeks, and then last year it was only a 2-week program.
Thank you.
So I know that we doubled that.
Thank you so much for coming and filling us in on what you do, and we thank you for the efforts on behalf of our citizens.
Thank you, and we invite you to join us.
Thank you. We will. Moving on to item number 6B, refunding of the library board. Jim Fink. Ryan, excuse me. Why did I write that?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee. I'm Jim Ryan with Government Consultants. I'd like to thank Ms. Angel Desatel, the Director of the Library Board, for coming out tonight. We approached Ms. Desatel and her board on July the 18th at a specially called meeting about a potential refunding opportunity for the library bonds. These bonds were issued in 2005 by the parish for the library. In today's market rates, we think we can save them about $369,000 in debt service between now and 2035, and in net present value terms, that is $266,000 in today's money. These refundings are of no risk to explore. If we can't, the Bond Commission sets savings thresholds, and if we can't meet those savings thresholds, we cannot close the deal. The savings numbers we talk about, both the gross savings over the life of the bonds, Mr. Joseph has heard this so many times he don't want to hear it anymore, and the net present value savings are all net of any fees, costs, underwriters, discounts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the bottom line is if we can't save them what the Bond Commission says we have to save them, we can't close the deal and they don't get charged anything. It is time sensitive. I appreciate your accommodation. Rates tend to fluctuate more at the end of the year, especially after a presidential election. Our goal is to get all the paperwork done. I put a timeline in your packet tonight. You can see the timeline has us closing around October the 23rd. Our goal is to get all the paperwork in place and then sit back and watch the market. And at such time as we think we can achieve the maximum savings possible in the market, we'll call Ms. Desatel and her board and ask them to call another special meeting, present our, the numbers that day to them, and let them make a decision that day as to whether or not they want to move forward. So what we're trying to do, and I appreciate the accommodation, is to get all the paperwork in place so that we can then start watching the bond market every day and pick a day that works for them. Hopefully it works for them. If rates move against us, Todd, you've heard this too a number of times, if rates move against us and the market never comes back, then the deal just doesn't get done.
Right.
And I appreciate your accommodation again.
We're happy to hear and have the opportunity to save the library board some money. Very, very pleased. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we authorize our bond council team to move forward.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Just for clarification, Jim, this savings, that includes all the fees and everything that's paid
Yes,
out, so that's after the fees and everything.
Councilman Scheck-Snyder, the
Okay.
$369,000 in gross savings that we would save them over the life of the bonds, and the roughly $250,000 we would save them in today's money, is net of any expenses,
Right.
fees, commissions, underwriting discounts, bond commission fee, my fee, all of that is, all the savings is after that. So
Right,
it
that's
would,
what-
it would never be a case where we say, well, we're going to save them $266,000, and by the way, we're going to charge them $66,000 out of that $266,000.
That's what I just wanted to clarify for the people to know that it is that net savings of that
Yes, sir.
much.
And there's actually, Councilman Scheck-Snyder, the bond commission actually has, there are a couple of savings thresholds and tests that you have to meet, and one of the tests is, what is the percentage of savings to the cost? And your savings has to be at least 1.5 times the cost
Okay.
to do it.
Councilman Satterley?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. Since we have a motion on the floor right now, I just want to be sure this was a chair's addition that we also voted to put on. It's not like a discussion now, it's an actionable item. Do we need any sort of public noticing for this, or can we just go ahead and proceed with this vote?
It actually, the publication of the library board resolution took place on the 26th. If you along with that timeline, they've already published their resolution. What we're asking for tonight, Councilman Satterley, is simply a recommendation to move forward and proceed with a resolution to the full council.
No, that was noticed in the Weekly Citizen, or?
The resolution that the library board adopted on the 18th, saying that they were going to move forward with this process, was published on July 26th. I'm sorry, 26th in the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, which is the official journal of the library.
In other words, where it says publication of library board resolution, and that's that day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Councilman Joseph?
And Jim, I mean, I've been here for a while now. This is like the third time we done this. So it don't happen that much,
No,
that
sir.
many times that we can save money.
Councilman Joseph, I don't tell my clients right now that rates are at historic lows. The truth is, rates are at all-time lows.
So, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. Any objections? Motion passes.
Thank you again, Madam Chairwoman.
You're
And
you're
can I
welcome.
take a moment to thank Amanda Butler for getting, Barack, I'm sorry, Amanda Barack, for getting all this together for us today and putting it in your packets. Thank you.
We appreciate it very much. All right. Moving on to item 7. Parish President Martinez, if you will address this issue, please.
Yes, Sorrento had annexed the Orange Grove area, which is in Burnside. There's an Orange Grove school at Sorrento now. I think primary school, it's what it's called. And once they annexed, we did not enter into a cooperative endeavor and agreement with them. Anytime a city annexes a piece of property, we would expect that the city would come forward and enter into an agreement with not only us, but the sheriff's office. And basically, right now, the situation is that there's a 10.5% tax fee in the newly incorporated area in Sorrento. And that is 4.5, the current 4.5 that the parish, school board, drainage board, and road tax district has, plus the 4% state, plus the 2 cent that the city would actually put on. And they had gone, I think Mayor Pro Tem Annie had talked to the taxing authority, and I was told that they had needed to come and discuss this with us and enter into an agreement with the parish. We have a couple other annexations recently also in the city of Gonzales. But this annexation actually occurred prior to us passing the 75% ordinance. And prior to that, you could negotiate with the municipality on whatever terms that you would like. In the past, it was traditionally a half cent. And basically what we're talking about is the 1 cent sales tax here. giving up 50% of that and retaining 50% in the city of Sorrento. And that's what they have come here tonight to ask of the parish to enter into that agreement. And
Mr. Chairman,
if,
I move that we enter into a 50-50 agreement with the town of Sorrento for the annexed property.
Second.
Due to it being previous, the ordinance that we have now that we follow.
So we have a motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Brian?
Brian.
Councilman Klula?
Yeah, just clear this up. Is this just in the annexed portion?
this is just in the annexed portion, yeah.
Not in the rest of it?
We have what you call permanent sales tax districts. They're perpetual, and they don't go away. If someone annexes, we still retain our tax base. We can enter into an agreement with municipalities and figure out a formula and come up with something that is fair to everyone, or basically you don't have to. But in the past, traditionally, this has happened. It started when Walmart, Gonzales annexed the area where the Walmart currently is, and the first agreement that was made was the 50-50 deal. So, and then we, as a new council and administration, I guess it was in 2008, passed an ordinance that said instead of in lieu of the 50.50%, we wanted 75% of the 1 cent sales tax. But this annexation took place prior to that. So,
Okay. Councilman Johnson?
I realize that it took place prior to that, but I know the developers had some verbal agreements with the Fire District 1, to provide them with some finances towards the fire station, as well as providing them with the property that was lost when all this stuff was annexed into the town of Sorrento. And that's one of the issues. That's a sticking point. I don't know. I fully realize that it was done prior to us passing our ordinance to enter into the 75-25 agreement. I would tend to hesitate as to whether or not we shouldn't stick to that if we're not going to talk something along the lines where developers not going to be held accountable for that type of agreement that they made prior to this thing being annexed as well. I don't know that I'm in favor of this unless we decide or we come up with something within the negotiations that something's done to compensate the fire district for what they have lost as well.
well, the fire district will continue to collect the tax there, the half-cent sales tax. That doesn't come into play here.
That's
Okay?
right.
So you still have the road tax and the fire tax, which is 1/3. And that's due because both of those have bond issues against them, and that have a debt service. So that's basically non-negotiable. So the fire service will continue to collect in that incorporated area. I know that doesn't solve the problem, but it may ease the pain a little bit.
Well, that's, again, that was part of the whole deal, to where it was nothing. It was sideline of the taxing issues that are there. So I don't know if that's something we can work out within these negotiations, if we're going to be, if it's stuck to the 50-50 agreement on the sales tax. But I would like to see something put into that negotiations along those lines, if that's entirely possible.
You may want to put that into the subdivision agreements through your planning commission, that if any new development is annexed, then it would have to conform to the parish planning commission rules and regulations and the agreements that were made. So we can probably amend our code to say that, and that probably would solve the problem, that it wouldn't happen again.
So we have a motion by Councilman Shake Snyder and a second
Mr.
by
Chairman.
Councilman Melanson. Any other questions? Councilman John?
Thank you. The only, I know about the agreement, I know about the 75, but the only problem I'm gonna stick with, and I'm being consistent about it, we have a package here. That information is not here, no evidence is showing us what time frame, anything, and basically, I'm just want administration to stick to the word that we agreed on, give us information so we can validate it take it in, and then make a real reasonable decision on it. And that's the only thing. I know about it, but a lot of new councilmen don't know anything about this here. And I just, you know, just the way I feel about it. Needs to
Mr.
be
Chairman,
back.
I tend to agree.
agree.
I tend to agree, and if we can get some more information and maybe have some discussions that were brought up tonight, maybe we can table this until next month and get further information so we can make an adequate decision. I would be in favor of amending my motion to table that until next month so we can make an adequate decision based on the information, because no, we don't have a whole lot of information in front of us as to the time periods, or, you know, it could be a lot clearer.
You good with that, Brian? We have an amended motion to table this until we can get some further information. That amended motion is made by Councilman Shea Snyder, seconded by Councilman Melanson. Any discussion?
One other discussion.
Councilman Lambert.
I'd like to hear from the mayor. And the reason why he's here, who directed him, the state, or what he's needing here?
Rand Annie, representing the town of Sorrento. How y'all doing this afternoon?
Good, sir.
On May 19th, we introduced an ordinance to annex in Orange Grove. Once we annexed in Orange Grove, the annexation was over June 2nd, 2009. Once that happened, to answer your question, Benny, is that the town of Sorrento, we put out about $30,000-$40,000 every year directly into the fire department. The fire department answers calls in and out the city of Sorrento. We pay for salaries of full-time paid firemen. We also pay for all the gas and everything, and the utilities to the fire department. We also put out $96,000 toward a new fire truck. That was for the town of Sorrento, that they wanted to put some new attachments to the new trucks that the parish had paid for. Normally what the town does, we normally pay about, within the last 10 years, we've probably added at least between $400,000 and $600,000 to firefighting in and outside the city of Sorrento. Most of our fire calls are outside the city of Sorrento. So when you say about, you're talking about the annexation of Orange Grove and about what the developer promised, he promised the city of Sorrento a lot too, and it wasn't given. But the city of Sorrento is giving more than what that the developer said he was going to give to the parish, to Ascension Parish and to Fire District 1. What happens is that when we annexed in Orange Grove, it's not fair to the people there to have a 10.5% sales tax, because it was done before the 75-25 split that was voted on by the parish council. So all we're asking for is the same thing that was given to Donaldsonville, same thing was given to the city of Sorrento. That if you look into your record, you will see that it would be the same as with the annexation for Walmart there and for the other annexations. So all we're asking for is that was done before the 75-25 and that we should get the 50-50. That's all we're asking. Same thing with President Martinez is saying.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Lord.
Mr. Andy, to help relieve the tax burden, are you guys considering reducing your 2 cents by half as well?
Any new annexations, we would come back to the board as everyone else has done, and we would go ahead and ask for the same requirements. You know, it depends on what's going to be there, if there's any new annexations that we would bring in, because that's would be fair to everyone. But what you're asking now is something that I can't go back in time. I was not the mayor at that time. But what I can tell you is that I was on the council, and our agreement, and like I said, and what Ken also knows, it was done before the 75-25. So if we all going to be fair, let's just be fair. Whatever was given to the same as city of Donaldsonville, the city of Gonzales, that's the only same thing I'm asking for, and that's the only thing by right would be fair.
What about the sheriff as well? Have you approached the sheriff as far as his half cent?
We just approached the parish, and the next is to approach the sheriff.
I guess that's kind of where my head's at as far as getting back to being fair. Something along the lines of reducing everything proportionately for the
Right.
taxing entities. I think that's...
And we're not talking about businesses, we're only talking about residential. And the only thing that's affecting right now is going to be residents, because there's not truly no business in that area. So you talk about residents, so when a person goes out to buy a car, they look at facing 10.5% sales tax. And I'm not saying that Sorrento was right, but what they did, Sorrento should have came forward and had this really done before. But you have to understand, Now I'm stepping in these shoes, and I have to come tonight and ask those questions. And I'm sorry this is the way it felt, and it's not you all's fault. I'll be honest, it's the city of Sorrento's fault. We should have stepped up early, and this agreement should have been made. So I thank you for any consideration you all would make tonight or within the next 30 days or at the next meeting.
We appreciate that, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ken.
One thing, and Randy, you can bring this back to, to municipalities, spoken with Councilman in Gonzales and of course in Donaldsonville also. What ends up always happening is pretty much these things get annexed and as a one-sided event with municipalities, and then after everything's said and done, then come to the council and ask, it puts us in a situation instead of pre-negotiating it. Everyone knows that we collect a tax, and we're going through the same thing with the city of Gonzales, and we did with Donaldsonville in the past. And just a word to the city of Gonzales and the city of Donaldsonville, if you're going to annex property, which you have a perfectly legal right to do, please come see us in advance so we don't have these situations. We've been doing this over and over again, and it's a good opportunity to bring. We would like to work things out previous and not doing it something post. And that's why we passed an ordinance now. And so ours is out there in black and white. This is what we stand for. So in the future, everyone knows. And we'll just make sure that. And the rest of them have all been negotiated previous to that. The one we did with Donaldsonville was negotiated previous to the completion of the annexation. So I think it would, things would work out well if everybody would work together on that. We get together and do that.
And I agree with you. And like I said again, and I'll say it, the city of Sorrento, like I said, it's not your fault. It's our fault because it's things that should have been done correctly. And those things we have to do. The cities, we have to do these things. It's not the parish council to run the cities. That is our job. We're elected officials. And we do have to come here and make these agreements. And we need to make these agreements before we come to a meeting like this where I have to approach a body and have to ask for these kind of concessions. These concessions should have been made a long time ago. And again, it is the city of Sorrento's fault, and I'm sorry for that. But we will correct them in the future, I promise.
I appreciate it, Councilman Johnson.
Yeah, Randy, appreciate you coming out tonight. Like Kent was alluding to, the issue that we have with this, from my perspective, is that we're the ones giving up tax dollars, and the cities are generating new revenue in the future, but we're winding up giving up what we would be collecting. And so that's why we went with the ordinance for the 75-25, to protect ourselves from future revenue that we would lose out on, to let the municipalities know up front that we don't mind working with you, but we've got to protect ourselves and trying to grow and cover the infrastructure that we have in the rural areas of the parish has been tough for this community for a long period of time. And so this is a way that we can protect our citizens, to make sure, which include everybody, that we're doing the right thing for the parish. So it's not anything to sit up there and sort anybody out or pick on anybody, because y'all just happen to be the first ones coming to us tonight with this kind of thing. So it's going to be kind of one of those tough roads that we go through to make sure that we protect ourselves. So, but I appreciate you coming out, and we can talk on through this stuff amongst ourselves and figure out which route we want to go with this, and we'll see what happens next month if the current motion passes.
And I understand. I'll be honest with you. If I get our Walmart or something, I promise I'm going to come negotiate it before I try to annex it in. I promise.
We have a motion on the floor and a second on an amended motion. We need to have a vote on that, please. Any objections? Or Mr. Sadler, you still have a comment?
Yeah, just a point of order. Is a motion to table, is that correct?
The motion is to table.
Okay.
The amended motion is to table.
My understanding of parliamentary procedure has been and always will be, a table would mean we would want to move it later on in our agenda and yet discuss it this afternoon and get resolution. I don't think any of us want to do that. Would not the more appropriate motion be a motion to postpone?
Mr. Shake Snyder can make that correction if he would like.
You can postpone to whatever date that you wish. We can postpone till the next meeting date.
That's
You
fine
also-
then.
You
That's
also
the,
can table till a certain time period, too.
Mr. Martinez?
I'm gonna ask Mr. Joseph exactly what more information can I give to you. I mean, I don't know. They came to us,
Well-
asked to get on the agenda. and
I
it's-
think
it's
it
a
would be good to
simple-
get a map and get a date that they was annexed and, you know, what's
Just a
in there.
timeline. Exactly.
We don't ever get anything, you know.
Get that to me,
and-
Mr. Annie?
Yes.
We'll make sure y'all get everything you need
Yeah.
from here on out.
Yes,
So-
Mr.
You know, and-
But I mean,
and-
I need to know what you need. I mean,
Well, I mean, and I just think when any entity annexes
Okay.
someone else's property, or at least send a map, and we're not getting that from anyone, you know.
I will make sure that each entity knows that before they come up here, because like I said, you're gonna see it a couple more times in the near future.
And-
So
and-
that's why I'm trying to find out what kind of information you need.
Right.
Mr. Parrington, do you know what we need now? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, Gonzalez just annexed some property.
We don't even know where it is.
I don't even know where it is.
They'll be here, they'll be here.
Is there any more discussion? Then we have a motion to postpone this
There's
until
agenda.
our September meeting. Any objections to that?
Who, Madam Chairman, who's the second to that motion?
The second to that was Brian Malonzo.
You're still comfortable with that, right?
Then the motion, the amended motion passes.
Thank you.
Obviously, Mr. Parish President, I'll need something in my packet at the next Finance Committee meeting with regard to this.
When I get a request to be put on the agenda, I will make sure that with the request, it's gonna come the information. So,
Thank you so much, appreciate it. Moving along to item number 8, Sales and Use Tax Report, Dawn Caballero.
Good evening. You have before you the Ascension Sales and Use Tax Summary Report for the month of June 2012, which is based on May sales. As you can see, all monthly comparisons to 2011 as well as year-to-date comparisons are very positive at this time. In your next column, you can see that the current year-to-date collections are well above budget at this time. On page 2 of the report are bar graphs that compare 2011 to 2012 year-to-date collections, and this represents only the 1-cent sales tax. And all sectors are experiencing an increase in collections. On page 3, the chart is, this chart also is just for the 1-cent rural sales tax districts. And it shows where the taxes are coming from. You can see the petrochemical industry is 46%, consumer retail is 32%, motor vehicle is 12%, and business to business is 10%. And then on page 4, these graphs are a historical depiction of all 3 districts. And so far, we are above 2011 on all the districts.
Any discussion, any questions, gentlemen? Item number 9, the Revenue and Expenditure Report. Amanda.
Good evening. Before you are the financial reports for the month of June 2012. On page 1, your total revenues are at 49.56% at 50% of the year. The items highlighted in green are items that reflect funds that are under the budget by 5% or more. And on page 5 of this report, you will have an explanation of why those funds are in that position. On page 2, Your total expenditures are at 49.66% at 50% of the year. And the items that are highlighted in green reflect funds that are over the budget by 5% or more. And on page 5 of the report is a explanation of for those funds. Page 3 are charts that compare both year-to-date revenue and expenditures for operating, which is the yellow bar, and capital, which is the blue bar, to the budget, which is your green bar. And then the last page of the report is a listing of all checks issued in June 2012 that were over $100,000, and the total of these checks are $1,961,939.32. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Dawn and Amanda, for your reports, and we'll move along to item number 10. Request for proposals. Ms. Jones.
On July 24, 2012, the Purchasing Department received one proposal for domestic waste sludge disposal services. The proposal was received from BFI Colonial Landfill. After review, the non-engineering selection committee recommend accepting the proposal submitted by BFI Colonial Landfill and to authorize the parish president to begin contract negotiations for this service.
Motion, Madam Chairman. Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Johnson and a second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any objections? Motion passes. Item number 11. Ms. Jones, you can carry right along.
On July 10, 2012, the Purchasing Department received two bids for bituminous mixture for hot application, asphalt. The bids were received from R.J. Daigle & Sons and Coastal Bridge Company. After review, the Purchasing Department and Department of Public Works recommends accepting the lowest responsive bid from Coastal Bridge Company.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Shake Snyder, second by Councilman Melanson. Any discussion? Any objections? Motion passes.
On July 10, 2012, the Purchasing Department received 6 bids for corrugated polyethylene pipe and fittings. The bids were received from Quality Site Work, Coburn Supply, and Industrial Municipal, Sorrento Lumber Company, Keeling Company, and Coastal Culvert. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from Sorrento Lumber Company.
Motion. So moved. Second.
Who got the second?
Randy, Kent, second.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilman Shake Snyder. Any discussion? Any objections? Motion passes. Item C.
On July 10, 2012, the Purchasing Department received 3 bids for reinforced concrete pipe. The bids were received from Quality Site Work Materials, Capital Concrete Products, and Sorrento Lumber Company. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from Capital Concrete Products.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Have a motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, a second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objections? Motion passes. Item D.
On July 10, 2012, the Purchasing Department received 3 bids for pump sand, not river silt. The bids were received from Southern Aggregates, Nonstop LLC, and Renee Trucking. After review, the Purchasing Department and Department of Public Works recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from Nonstop LLC.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Motion from Councilman Satterly, second from Councilman Lambert. Any discussion? Any objections? Motion passes. Before we get to item 12, I would like to make a very brief report to the members of this committee. On last Finance Committee meeting, Judge Kleber came and discussed with us the issues at St. James Detention Center, and at that time, I requested that the parish president put a meeting together of the stakeholders in this issue, and that was very promptly done. I want to thank Kim for calling me at 8 o'clock the next morning to begin the scheduling of that meeting. The parish president was present on last Friday together with the sheriff, the district attorney, Judge Holdridge, Judge LeBlanc, and at my invitation, Councilman Cluott joined us. We met together to discuss the issue. We wanted to take a very holistic approach to our juvenile detention problem. It is very important in light of a legislative act that was done in this past legislative session that makes it impossible, I believe, for us to direct funds anywhere but the St. James Detention Center. In order to clarify that, we are going to do some more research. The DA is going to handle that research. The sheriff is going to look into the actual juvenile crime statistics in the parish, get back with us on that. And we are, as I said, going to approach this very holistically. We need to have a solution to this problem. It is a priority for me. I know that it is a priority for the members of that issue committee that met on last Friday. And so I want to assure you that we are going to provide a very responsible solution at some point in the very near future. I do want to thank again the parish president, the DA, the sheriff, all those people who came out and met early on a Friday morning for dedicating their time to the effort on behalf of our young people. And at that point, having nothing more to say about that, I'll call for Councilman Lambert's item number.
Motion adjourned, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.